So from Gizmodo, here's an article about a bizarre reaction to antibiotics, specifically penicillin, that gave a woman black hairy tongue. So black hairy tongue disorder or disease is and they have it blanked out here. It's a type of disorder that comes from a reaction to antibiotics. They start off saying, while recovering in hospital after a serious car accident, a 55-year-old woman from Missouri began to complain of nausea and a bad taste in her mouth. A subsequent oral examination revealed an alarming sight. The patient's tongue had turned black and was covered in hair-like structures. But while this rare condition looks serious, it's actually harmless. I don't believe that. Who wants to walk around with a black tongue? Come on now. A new case report published today in the New England Journal of Medicine chronicles a rare case of black hairy tongue, a condition otherwise known as lingua villosa nigra. So that just means black hairy tongue. Sorry. Those of you who have weak stomachs, I will warn you before I show the videos. Maybe you want to pause it or skip maybe 30 seconds or so. But it's important to see these things. So after a severe injury in which both of her legs were crushed, an unnamed woman was sent to the hospital according to the case study. While recuperating, an infection developed in one of her injuries. The medical team put her on an antibiotic regimen consisting of meropenem, which she received intravenously, and minocycline, which was administered orally. And what happened on the left is black hairy tongue condition, and on the right is after they stopped the minocycline. So as you can see here, the left is where she had the case of the hairy tongue. The right is 4 weeks after minocycline was stopped. A week later, the patient's tongue began to take on a brownish black hue. She complained of feeling nauseous and said she had a bad taste in her mouth. The patient's medical team diagnosed her as having black hairy tongue, with the reaction to the minocycline being the likely cause. So how can they say it does not have an effect on you, but she says she was nauseous? Because you're swallowing whatever is on your tongue, right? I don't believe that hairy tongue is benign, but they say it is here. It's a surprisingly common condition, but most of the time it appears yellowish and not the stark black as seen in this particular case. In the U.S., it's known to affect about 1% of the population, but in some parts of the world, up to 10% of people have it, according to David Warren, a co-author of the new report and professor of medicine at Washington University School of Medicine. It happens when the bumps on the top of the surface of the tongue, the filiform papillae, grow unusually long. These tiny knobs become elongated, ranging in length from 1 millimeter to 18 millimeters in length. Whoa, that is very long. Whoa. So technically speaking, it's not actually hair growing from the tongue, but it looks like hair. If you look at the surface of tongue closely, you will see it looks like sandpaper. The filiform papillae are what form the rough surface, Warren told Gizmodo. They are covered with keratin, which is the same protein as your skin. Normally, this outer layer of the papillae is being continuously rubbed off when we eat. In hairy tongue, for various reasons, that layer grows faster than it can be rubbed off, so the papillae become longer. So what happens is, it seems the antibiotic prevents or inhibits the ability for the papillae to rub off naturally, and they just continue to grow because they have a very short lifespan, these cells, and the papillae that are on your tongue, they have a short lifespan of very high turnover rate. So changes in the types of bacteria that normally live in the mouth can cause the pigment to develop. It's not clear why minocycline can cause black hairy tongue, but Warren said it might be altering the types of bacteria that live in the mouth, allowing some species to proliferate that cause the pigment. Other antibiotics and medications also have been associated with the condition, as have smoking, poor oral hygiene, heavy black tea and coffee consumption, and radiation treatment for head and neck cancer, Warren said. Thankfully, black hairy tongue is reversible and there are no long-term health effects. Well, we don't really know that at this point, but okay. Hairy black tongue can be very disturbing because of how it looks, But in general, it is okay. Moving on. Let's get to the bottom. In this case, the woman was taken off minocycline and put on a different set of antibiotics. She was also told to practice better oral hygiene. For weeks after the minocycline was discontinued, her tongue was back to normal. Okay, so that's the end of the article. This is a 55-year-old woman from Missouri. Maybe she does need to practice better oral hygiene. I'm not sure. But when you're given penicillin, not just penicillin, antibiotics such as minocycline or the others, yeah, you may have this to happen. And when you Google black hairy tongue disease, this is what you get. Some it's white, some it's black. It depends on the bacteria that's growing. Sometimes it looks like tar. It looks very weird. Okay. So these pictures get worse and worse. This person has very bad oral hygiene. And I'm noticing a trend here in the people that are getting this black hairy tongue. If you notice the trend, please let me know in the comment section what the trend is that you notice with this hairy tongue condition. You know, I see a melanated person here on this list here, but I don't see black hairiness on the tongue. But all these tongues look like they're from a specific group of people. I don't know what it could mean. But you all let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This is disgusting as hell. Ugh.